I had never really spoken to Mr. Sterling before that Tuesday. To me, and to everyone else in our struggling neighborhood, he was just the old man on the hill. He lived in the biggest house, the one with the iron gates and the manicured lawn that looked like a green carpet. I was just the guy who delivered his groceries. I was 22, broke, and tired. I parked my beat-up delivery van in his driveway and hauled 3 bags of fancy organic food to his porch. I was wiping sweat from my forehead when the door opened. Mr. Sterling stood there, leaning on a cane. He looked frail, his hair white as snow, but his eyes were sharp. "You look fast, son," he said, his voice raspy. I blinked, confused. "Excuse me. Fast? You run up those steps like they aren't even there. I bet you used to run track." I shifted my weight, feeling awkward. "In high school, yeah. Before I had to start working double shifts." Mr. Sterling looked at his watch, a gold thing that probably cost more than my entire life's earnings. "I have a proposition. A challenge." He pointed a shaking finger toward the old oak tree at the end of the long block, about a quarter-mile away. "Race me to that tree and back. If you win, I give you $10,000. Cash. Right now." I laughed nervously. "Sir, with all due respect, you have a cane." "And you have youth," he snapped back, though there was a strange glint in his eye. "Do you accept? Or are you scared of an 80-year-old man?" It felt wrong. It felt like stealing. But I thought about my mom's medical bills sitting on the kitchen counter. I thought about the rent that was 3 weeks late. $10,000 would change our lives. "Okay," I said, my voice quiet. "I accept." He nodded, handed his cane to his butler who had appeared in the doorway, and walked down the steps. He moved slowly, his knees creaking. We stood at the edge of his driveway. "On the count of 3, he said. 1, 2, 3. He took off. Well, he didn't really take off. He started a slow, shuffling jog. I hesitated for a second, feeling guilty, but then I remembered the money. I started jogging. I passed him instantly. I didn't sprint. I didn't want to embarrass him. I just kept a steady pace, the wind cooling the sweat on my face. I reached the oak tree in no time. I tagged the bark and turned around. Mr. Sterling was barely halfway there. His face was bright red, and I could hear his wheezing breath from 50 feet away. He looked like he was in pain, clutching his chest slightly. I stopped running. "Mr. Sterling, are you okay?" I shouted. He waved me off angrily, still shuffling forward. "Keep running," he choked out. I didn't want to, but I jogged back to the house. I crossed the finish line at the driveway and waited. It took him another 5 minutes to get back. By the time he reached me, he collapsed onto the grass, gasping for air so hard I thought I'd have to call an ambulance. I dropped to my knees beside him. "Sir, I'm calling help." "No," he wheezed, grabbing my wrist with surprising strength. He rolled onto his back, staring up at the blue sky. Tears were streaming down his face. Not sweat, tears. "I won," I said softly, trying to calm him down. "You don't have to pay me. Please, just breathe." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a check he had already written. It was crumpled now. He shoved it into my hand. "Take it," he whispered. "Why?" I asked, looking at the check. "You knew you couldn't beat me. You knew you'd lose. Why did you do this?" Mr. Sterling closed his eyes, his chest still heaving. "My son, David." I stayed silent. "David and I used to race to that tree every Sunday," the old man said, his voice breaking. "He was fast, just like you. He would always beat me, and he would always wait for me at the driveway, laughing." He took a shaky breath. "David died in a car accident 20 years ago today. For 20 years, I have sat in this house, too sad to move, too sad to run." He opened his eyes and looked at me. They weren't sharp anymore. They were just sad and grateful. "I didn't want to win, son. I just wanted to see someone young and strong running ahead of me one last time. I wanted to chase him one last time. When I saw your back moving away from me, for a second, just a second, it was him. I wasn't the lonely old man on the hill. I was a father playing with his boy." I looked down at the check in my hand. It was a lifeline for me, money I desperately needed. But suddenly, it felt heavy. I helped Mr. Sterling up. I walked him to his porch and sat him down. "Thank you," I said, my voice thick. "No," he replied, wiping his eyes. "Thank you for the race." I walked back to my van. I looked at the check again. I would cash it, and I would pay my mom's bills. But as I drove away, I didn't feel like a winner of a race. I realized that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. The millionaire didn't want a challenge. He just wanted a memory. And for a few minutes on a Tuesday afternoon, I got to give it to him.